Alright, welcome to Module 4. This is the pre-module review guided notes. The objective for this video is that I can divide fractions and write ordered pairs given points on a graph. So reviewing these two key skills. Before we do that, I want to talk about rates really quickly. So a rate is a ratio that compares two different kinds of quantities or measurements, and the key is that they have different units as well. So for example, we have 3 teachers for 24 students. We are comparing teachers to students, because they're different things, right? Different units, teachers versus students. So you could write this as a fraction, 3 teachers, 24 students. Here we have 135 words in 3 minutes. Comparing different things, words to minutes. We set this up as a fraction, it would be 135 words in 3 minutes. So, you're going to work with rates this unit. Alright, let's talk about dividing fractions. There are 4 steps to dividing fractions. So here we have 4/5 divided by 9/5. The first thing we do is K for keep. And that is we keep the first fraction. Keep first fraction the same. The first C is for change the operation. F is for flip second fraction. And the last C is for cross cancel to simplify. So what you really need to know is keep, change, flip, cross cancel. Let's practice. We keep the first fraction, so 4/5 I'm going to keep as 4/5. We change the operation, so I'm going to change division to multiplication. And I'm going to flip the second fraction. So 9/5 becomes 5/9. So we just turn it upside down. Lastly, we need to cross cancel. Here we have 5 and 5. 5 can go into itself, so I'm going to go ahead and say 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now 4 and 9 do not share any factors. 4, the only way you can multiply to make 4 is 1, 2, and 4. 9, the only ways to make 9 are 1, 3, and 9. So the only common factor is 1, and dividing by 1 will not change our number, so we're going to leave it. Now we can multiply, and remember we multiply our tops and our bottoms. 4 times, not 5, but 1, because we simplified. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 9 is 9. We end up with 4/9. Alright, lastly, we are going to look at ordered pairs. So here we have a graph. We have our y-axis, which is our vertical axis, and we have our x-axis, our horizontal. The place they cross is the origin, or 0. When we write ordered pairs, we write them in a very specific way. We have parentheses, we have our x value, comma, y value, parentheses. So you always put your x number first, excuse me, and then your y number. So our first one is B. So I'm going to go find the letter B. There's the letter B. And now I need to find the x value. You can do this by just following it down to the x-axis. Now, it's not labeled. We're skip counting here, so we just have to figure out what we're skip counting by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like we're just counting by ones, which means that this is negative 4. So the x value for b is negative 4. Now we have to find the y value. So I'm going to just follow it over to the y-axis. And you don't have to draw the lines if you don't want to. Sometimes it can be helpful. The y value looks like it's also counting by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's counting by 1s as well. Here we are above 0. We have positive values up here, so we are at positive 1. Let me close our parenthesis. So this negative 4 comma 1 tells us how to get from the origin all the way up to b. All right, let's look at c. Here's c over here. c is already on the x-axis. So I just have to figure out how far away it is from 0. So that's 1, 2, 3. And it is to the right, so we have a positive 3 as our x value. And now the tricky part is the y value. Because c is on the x-axis, and the x-axis crosses y at 0, that means c is at 0. We don't go up or down from the x-axis. So c tells us we go to the right 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we go up and down 0. So we don't move, and we're at c. All right, let's look at d. Here's d. Our x value, if we follow it down, is positive 5. And our y value, if we follow it over. And it's very important that you follow the line exactly. Don't be wandering up or wandering down so you get the wrong number. Follow the line over. Here we're 1 below positive 5, so that's positive 4. And that's where d is. All right, let's look at e. Here is e down here. Now, we're below the x-axis, but we're still going to move up to get there. So that would be 1, 2, and because it's to the left, notice we have a negative 5 over here. This is a negative 2. And then our y value, we move over to the right to get to the y-axis, and this is negative 1, negative 2. Notice we are below 0, so we are also negative. So e is at negative 2, negative 2. I would like you to go ahead and pause this video and attempt to find the coordinates for f and g, and then I will go ahead and put those in there for you too, so you can check your answers. So go ahead and pause, get the coordinates in. All right, the coordinate for f. We start at 0 and we don't go anywhere. We're already at f, which means if we're not moving left or right, we're moving 0 spaces. If we're not moving up or down, we're at 0 spaces. So 0, 0, this is also called the origin. It's always where we start on a graph. All right, lastly we have g. G is down here. On our x-axis, if we follow g all the way up, we end up at the origin, which is 0. We're not moving left or right to get to g. We are, however, moving down 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So 4 tells us how far we're going, and the negative tells us we're moving down. All right, go ahead and move on to 4.1.